All right, Miles, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers once again. This one, one of the intriguing teams in the NFL. Obviously, bringing in Frank Reich, new coach, a lot of question marks on this team. And their latest move, Miles, is an indication that they're going to make a big change at a critical position. And we've got the story on that.
Yeah, Nick, critical position, one of the most critical positions on the field is the quarterback position. And the Panthers quarterback position is up in the air right now. Nobody knows exactly what it is going to be. So Panthers fans, you gotta let us know in the comments below. Week 1, NFL, first game of the season. Who do you want to see at quarterback on the field for the Carolina Panthers? I'm interested to know what you have to say. But Nick, what do you got on the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, I think we're going to get some definitely really interesting answers there. So obviously the big news related to Carolina is Frank Reich is building his staff. Big news in my opinion, and this is according to Ian Rappaport, that the Panthers have hired former NFL quarterback Josh McCown to be the team's quarterbacks coach. All right, Miles, what this tells me is that they're going after a young guy, most likely in the draft. You bring in a savvy, older, former NFL vet, former NFL quarterback to mentor young quarterbacks. That's kind of the strategy you do it. You look at the Bills with Josh Allen. They brought in Ken Dorsey. You look at the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence. They hired Doug Peterson to be the de facto quarterbacks coach. I know he's the head coach and play caller, but he essentially acts as the quarterbacks coach. I mean, you look at a lot of other examples in the NFL. Look at the Chargers, right? Justin Herbert. They go off Lombardi, who's like not really a former quarterback, not really a former player. They bring in Kellen Moore, former NFL quarterback. If you've got a young, talented quarterback, you want to pair him up as his quarterbacks coach, as kind of his go-to guy, a former NFL guy, because he knows the tricks of the trade. He knows the ins and outs of that position and can relate to that young guy and boost him up and get him playing right. So the Panthers bring in a guy like McCown, who's been there before, right? Former NFL quarterback, wants to eventually be a head coach, but definitely wants to get into coaching here. They put him in a position to mentor a young quarterback, Mice. And to me, that means the Panthers are going all in. I think it's CJ Stroud as their target right now, but they're definitely going young at quarterback this offseason.
Yeah, Nick, and there's two things that are intriguing to me about McCown specifically. One is that he did get some play at the interviewings for a head coaching position, which means that teams must see some value in him. They're not just going to bring him in for hour-long head coaching interview if they don't see any value in it. That's a waste of everybody's time. So he has some value, even though he doesn't really have any coaching experience whatsoever. And two, Nick, you say mentoring young guys. McCown has been on, I believe I counted right, 12 different NFL teams plus one UFL team. So he has been around a ton of young quarterbacks, especially in the later half of his career. And he was able to mentor a ton of young quarterbacks. So he has the experience in that aspect. And when I think 12 different teams, I think 12 different offenses. And if you're able to pick up that many different things, you got to know the game inside and out. So I think this is very interesting move by the Panthers. And I really do think your point there is correct. They're going after a young quarterback, and specifically probably a young quarterback in the higher end of this draft.
Yeah, and another interesting point, one of the reasons I lean more to CJ Stroud is that Josh McCown actually put on a YouTube video, or he made a video with someone who was put on YouTube. I don't know, however it was logistically handled, but he came out and talked about CJ Stroud and raved about him and called him the next Joe Burrow. Right. So obviously you got McCown here, new to the fold, new quarterbacks coach. He's kind of angling for a young guy anyway. And he seems to have acquired his target in CJ Stroud. I like the idea of CJ Stroud for Carolina. We talked about it in another video, and I think all the stars are aligning for them to go after a guy like Stroud in the draft. Of course, there may be some trades involved. There's positions, people jockey for different positions in the draft order. It'll be really interesting to see how all that shakes out. But to me, no matter what, it's clear the Panthers are going young, and they're going to go a quarterback in the top 10 or move up to the top 5. So if I'm a Panthers fan right now, hold on, because it's going to get really wild here as we get closer to the draft, because I think a new gunslinger is coming to town.